Alright. We're going for the Grand Architect, dude. Grand Architect. As requested from the boys. We'll try do an uncut quick little explanation of how the Architect works and how I like to approach it. Expect a death. Hopefully not. Hopefully we one-shot it. Yeah. Maybe the pathing, dude. The pathing is pretty monka in these zones. I told you, dude, it was gonna happen. Alright, we go again. Still got my flares, still got everything. The zone felt really dense. Nah, it's cool, man. We've clipped the end. We'll do another full version, full unedited explanation of how I do the Grand Architect. Because I like by doing it a bunch of times, because we were farming it last week since it was actually like worth it, right? I can explain some of the things. So in this one, like, you shouldn't be afraid of using your flasks, right? In phase 1 for the Grand Architect. Because phase 1 actually lasts pretty long. So what I just usually do, I pop my flasks, I go close to him. And then you just want to circle around him. He does that army wavy thing. And he does those little circles. Here he does the big circle. And you just want to step out of that, because that's a big ground degen. When he does these, you just stack really close to him. In the center. He does the ball, you walk away, and then you flame dash over to the other side. And then darkness phase. The darkness phase is actually the hardest phase in the whole fight. What I usually do is you throw the flares around and then you start running around. As soon as you get your phasing flask back up, this is when you want to get your walls up in the center, right? Because a lot of the projectiles that these monsters throw are directional proj. Some of them are lobbed, can go over your frost wall, but a lot of them aren't. So what I usually do is I throw up the frost wall and then I run in circles inside my frost wall. Most of the time, the monsters are going to hit you. When you're getting towards the last phase here, this is when I spawn my skellies. Because they're going to spawn randomly, the monsters still. And your skellies create a diversion for them to hit, right? And here we're out of the phase. This is when you pop all your damage cooldowns and you throw your dynamite and you just finish them off. And that's how I do the Grand Architect. So to go over the phases again, you go straight in, stack close to them. It takes a little while to come on free. So what I would usually do is you wait here, you pop your flasks, you start doing your damage, you pop your focus or whatever cooldowns you have. He waves his hands in the air, he does these little circles, so you gotta make sure that as soon as you see him actually like waving his hands, you move, and you move, and then you move again. And then he's gonna do, if he does the big circle, you wanna stay away from that, but you just wanna stand still, right? Make sure you don't walk into that circle degen. When he puts these things up in the air, they usually make a circle around him like that. And what they do is they go up in the air and then they slam down. If you're close to him, they can't hit you, right? So you just stay close to him. Make sure you're not walking out to where they are. Like, it would be like here, for example, is where they fall down. And then there's another thing where he does, like where you see him float up in the air. When he floats up in the air, he's gonna do these like lances, kind of like Veritania, right? When you see him float up in the air and put his hand like forward like that, kind of, that's when you just want to run around. You know, pop your adrenaline and just run around in a circle and make sure that you're avoiding the blood lances. And then add phase, again, you just frost wall. Run through your frost wall with phasing while you're like aiming whatever ability you have to the monsters. Towards the end of the add phase, when they stop spawning, that's when you spawn Val Skellies. And then just finish him off with like all your bursts, all your flasks, all your cooldowns and Valoref and things like that. And that's how you do, at least that's how I do the Grand Architect. And that was a depth 7500 Architect. It can get harder with mods. Obviously with attack and cast speed, it's still very doable. With double attack and cast speed, I would just avoid it because it's just a pain. And tank mods don't really matter. It just makes the fight prolong longer. And he only has those 4 moves, right? So he has the circle things around him. He has the targeted AoE circle, the big degen circle, and then when he jumps up in the air. One scary thing that can happen is these things here can get charged, right? And they create like these little circle looking things. But those are pretty easy to avoid. You just go like that, and you just make sure that you're like flame dashing over it once they're like past you and stuff. So it's not a big issue. But that's how we do. That's how I do the Grand Architect as a deep delver that can't get hit. Yeah, that's pretty much it.